We are back. Sorry for the wait, ladies and gentlemen. We were waiting so long just to kind of get ourselves established and set up. Today on Nocturnal TV, we are doing an episode of Let's Rap. And I'm so excited to have my guy. This is my boy. I've known him my whole life. Sir Vonne Wayne, thank you so much for being out here,
man.
Thank
you for having me, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much. Excited to be here. You know, I seen the Nocturnal stuff all over Instagram. I'm like, yo, time for me to get on this. So,
Absolutely.
I'm out.
And you could have been anywhere. He decided to come all the way from Durham over here, and we appreciate that.
Kick back on him in the whip that's foreign. Drip drop on him with a chick that's gorgeous.
I'm so excited to say that we are in the Alpha Pack headquarters. That is amazing. We're going to showcase the actual venue in a little bit, but just to let you know, we got a lot of things coming. Go check out Alpha Pack at any chance you can. We got a lot. You can see here they got Alpha Pack soft paper, so definitely check them out. www.alphapackhub.ca. What I wanted to kind of start off with, just getting into everything you do. So let's just first of all go backwards. And let's kind of dive into your history. So just start off with how your music career started.
Started off.
Yeah.
Okay, so I grew up in the church, man, as you would know.
Right.
And back in the day, there was this group of guys I looked up to, you know? They were as a group, and they were called the Church Boys, and they used to rap. And, me and my boys, there was probably like 5 of us at the time. We used to see them rap at like events and at church, and they went to like this camp that we used to go to back in the day, and they performed, and everyone's going crazy, and the girls are going wild, and I was just like, that's about to be me in a bit. So we decided to start our own little group, and we were looking for names, and then we finally found our name, and we chose on Young Saints and started off with 5 of us. Then it was 4, and then 3, and then 2, and we stuck to the 2 since then. And for years I was part of that group, and I still am, you know. My boy Kadeen Ray.
Shout outs. Couldn't be here today, but shout out.
Exactly, right? So so we just started rapping from time, and we grew a lot of success from there. We kind of picked up from where the Church Boys left off, and we started doing tours and events, and then we got signed to one label for a year and did stuff on that. We were signed to a couple actually over the past couple of years. I started opening for like Rita Marley. We opened for Lecrae at one point. We opened for, we're on stage with Kirk Franklin, all these different people, right? Big names, No Malice, all that stuff. So I got my performance from there, being able to touring all over like Europe, going to Paris, going down south. So I've had years of experience when it comes to that, and that's where I like really honed my skills and like started in music. So that's pretty much the beginning of that.
No, that's amazing. And then I just wanted to go back to the No Malice thing and the Kirk Franklin. What was that experience like? Just tell the people what that was like. The
first time we met Kirk Franklin was at a concert he had in Toronto. I think it was at the Queensway Church. And my boy Keenan and I, we were like, yo, we idolized him. Growing up in the church, Kirk Franklin is the guy.
Right.
So you already know, you're like, yo, gotta meet this guy. So we like try to sneak backstage, but we had the passes, so we were allowed to go back. And we went back, and he came out after he performed, and he saw us, spoke to us, he chilled with us. We told him one day we're gonna do a song with him. He's like, yeah, most definitely. We even have a sound bite of him saying like,
that's crazy.
We're gonna do a track together one day. But he was super humble, super chill. Probably it's so funny that he's the biggest Christian. Technically, I think he is the biggest gospel star there is. Kirk Frank, 100%. But he was the most humble guy ever. He even asked us he's like, yo, where should we go to eat afterwards? We told him, he's like, yeah, we're gonna go to Jack Astor's. They went to. He's like, yeah, come through afterwards. It was mad dope. And then we saw him maybe 2 or 3 times afterwards, because the next time we saw him was at Ottawa Blues Festival, I think it's called. And we opened for him, and he remembered who we were. It wasn't one of those things where he forgot. He knew who we were. Not at all, man. He was on a live, and he shouted us out. Like, it was a good vibe. So that was a great experience. Every time I've met him after that, it's always been like an Uncle Kirk thing. So that was dope. Amazing to see. It's always great when you see your heroes and they live up to the hype.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you meet people and you're like, I wish I never met you, because my mindset of you before and now
changed.
100%, and it's an awful feeling,
right.
So he was great, and No Malice, that was it's so funny. The first time No Malice came here and we actually saw him perform, it was at the McVetti Center, and we were trying to get in, they wouldn't let us in. I mean, like, into the concert.
Right.
They're like, tickets are sold out. We're like, all right, cool. So we waited around forever, and we tried to get back to him backstage, and his manager was kind of like, nah, y'all need to move. Y'all need to move. So we're like, he left. Like, that's never gonna happen. I think about, I don't remember how many years later, we made a song called "So Help Me," and this song, we made the song in no time. We just made the song and put it out there. And also we started getting like hits from like Sony hit us up.
Wow.
The Truth hit us up. Who else hit us up? There's a few rappers that hit us up and they're like, yo, this song's fire. What's your label situation? What's going on? And we started talking to different people, and then our manager decided to let's just see what will happen. Let's send it to No Malice's people and let's just see what happened. Maybe about a week later, we get a DM on Instagram, like, what's your email, what's your number, I want to contact you. It was his management. They hit us up, and he was just like, man, you guys are fire, this is great, yo. I sent them over to Malice, all the songs you guys sent, he likes these two, you guys pick which one you guys want him to go on, and whatever. So we picked the song called Pray Up. And then I remember, like, we sent him the verse, and we're like, he's not gonna actually do it, we're like, whatever. Right. And I remember being at home. I remember I was in the living room of my mom's house, and I got a call from like this number, and it said Virginia, and I'm like, yo, who's calling from Virginia? They're scam. Yeah, right. But I'm like, yo, someone said, yo, pick it up, and I pick it up, and he's like, yo, what's going on, Young Saints? And I'm like, who's like, it's No Malice. I was like, yo, I was like geeking out on the phone, but I was like, yo, what's up, man? You know, oh, good to hear from you. He's like, yeah, man, the song you guys sent were dope. Amazing, whatever. I'm about to hop on that, whatever. So we're like, whoop, whoop, that was great. Then his management called and said, yo, we actually want to like work with you guys and sign you guys to our management company and, you know, manage you guys and whatever, which was huge. Of course, we talked it over, went over the stuff, signed up with that. And that was great. Then Malice not only did a song with us, he's like, yo, let's do a concert. So we did a huge concert in the city, and he came out. That was a dope experience in itself. Having him come out and open, we got to chill with him for like 2-3 days. Let's like water on the city with him, talk. I think they were also doing the night before the concert, they had Battle of the Beats, and they had like a rap thing downtown. So a bunch of people were downtown. So he went to that, and we were there. It was a dope experience. Even like being with him, because at that point, we had like, I remember we were in the dressing room. He prayed with us, right? And then he called like his brother, and they were talking. We're like, "Yo, bunch of tea," and he's like on the phone with Pharrell, and it was a dope experience all around to the stories he was telling us and stuff. And then to be able to share the stage with him in front of like all of our peers and people we grew up with, to see us on that level, man, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. So they also set the tone for what I had to do, what I'm doing now, and what was to come next. That also opened us up to, we were on Hot 97, we were on Summer Jam, we were on Vibe Magazine. Fire. So it's a lot of things opened up from there, and so it was, great experiences in my life, man. The touring opened up, it was great.
Yeah, so just touching on, I was going to ask you that next, just touching on the touring. Yeah. What were some places you guys went during that time?
We toured Barbados twice, Paris 3 times, all South America, like Honduras and El Salvador and all those places. Like we did a bunch of the South stuff, and then of course all over the States. Right. Like I think the only place that we haven't gone is California, but every small from Washington, New York, everywhere in New York.
And then just in regards to the genre that you were in, right? Yeah. How difficult at that time for you guys was it in the gospel type of genre? Because I find, you know, you're trying to be in that, but then you're trying to come up with a specific type of message. Yeah. But it's hard to kind of keep escalating to the level of where you kind of want to be. 100%. Kirk Franklin obviously did it. But what would you talk to? Like,
well, I mean, Kirk Franklin does it well because he likes to sample a lot of what they would say secular music. Right. Right. So he does a lot of sampling and meddling because that's just like how to stay relevant and keep it growing. But I find that gospel Christian rappers, number one, they like to say the same things over and over again. They don't like to adventure or take risks in their message because they're trying to be this cookie cutter Christians, and so their message gets corny. Right. For the most part, it's corny. Sorry, guys, it's corny.
No, but that's honest.
It's honest, right? It's corny, and so we always try to think outside the box. And it's funny because we used to get ridiculed in the city, in our own city, about how we used to move when it came to our topics and pushing the borders and the lines and then crossing the lines, blurring them. But now almost everybody from Toronto is literally copying our exact formula to the T. And I just laugh at those guys like, you know, whatever, good, whatever. Don't pay homage, do your thing. Like, as long as you guys are getting it, I'm cool with it. But it's always been that way. It was hard. It's hard not to swear in music. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, it's so easy. It's so easy to, people say like, oh no, like it's your vocabulary. If you have a wide vocabulary, it's, shut up. That's not it, man. That's not it at all.
Right.
It's just sometimes you want to express yourself. When you stub your toe, you don't want to say, golly gee, man, that hurt. Like, that's not realistic.
Right.
You know? So,
and even church people swear, man.
100%.
I've heard it.
100%.
So I get what you're saying.
100%, right? So it does take a certain level of, I'd say, I'm trying to find the word for it. I don't even have the word for it right now, but it does take a certain level to not use those words and to still find new messages about the same book.
And not to cut you there, how hard was it to write that kind of specific lyric, or those specific kind of bars, and trying to keep those things out of what you're saying? Like,
yeah.
How difficult was that process?
The thing is, at first it was very difficult. As we've been doing it for years, eventually you just know, your mind starts to censor itself automatically, right? You just like know how to do it. But again, my biggest thing is not just the swearing, it's how to bring like what's going on in people's lives today and relate it to the Bible. I think people forget, like, yeah, the Bible is the Bible and it's there. It's what people use as a guidance for their life. But bro, everything that's happening in today's world is in the Bible. Like, they just want to talk about it. You want to talk about David? The man killed for gal. The man killed to sleep with the next man's wife, bro.
Right.
You know how relevant that is?
Right. That's a fact.
You know how relevant that is?
That's a fact.
Money, greed, all that stuff. But they always want to talk about these the positive stuff. But there's legit dark things you can tap into in that book, and you don't have to always like say it where it's just like, you know, Jesus. There's ways to get around it. So we found that, and once we got into that, you know, that once we got into that flow, it was like easy at that point, but it was hard at first.
Any gospel rappers trying to come up, you heard that advice firsthand. It is possible, you can do it. You just have to kind of think a little bit outside of the box,
100%.
using the same context, which is an amazing point.
100%.
That was awesome. So that being said, let's move now into what took you from that into what you're doing today. And if you want to just first of all start off with what it is you're doing in terms of your label and your development and that sort of thing.
Because of that, I started and I always will always, that's my first love is doing gospel music and whatever, and I never stopped doing that. Like,
right.
Young Saints, we have a project coming out next year, 2 projects actually.
Go check that out.
Right? And so therefore we've been we're still working on that, but that helped me segue into starting my own fundamental label. So I have a developmental label called Vonne Wayne Corp. And I have a bunch of artists on there. I have R&B artists, I have rock artists, I have pop artists, I have alternative music, I have a bunch of hip hop artists, you know, singers, rappers, writers. Everybody's a part of this collective. And I started it because I find that a lot of people know how to, I guess, make music, but they don't know how to really make music. They don't know how to structure it a certain way. They don't know how to time out their bars. They don't know when to put a bridge or what to do for a bridge or how to make catchy hooks that people actually, because hooks are the biggest part of the song.
Right.
If you can't make a good hook, your song is a freestyle.
Absolutely.
Your song is straight bars.
Right.
You can have the sickest bars without a hook. It's a freestyle.
Yeah.
And it's sick, but you know, people are not really
Can't make an album out of that.
Exactly, right? So I want to help artists structure that and like learn how to write and form songs correctly. I also feel that if we had the help that I'm giving other people now, we'd be further along as well.
Absolutely.
I've also, being in the game for so long, 10 plus years, starting out as a kid and growing up through it, made a lot of connections, met a lot of people. A lot of people follow me that are important in the industry. And so I now have a platform that I can pick the best that I have and put them on my social media and everything just to get it out there so that they have the opportunity that I never had before for these big people to see their stuff and potentially help them out. So yeah, I've always thought about doing this over time, and to be fair, I feel like at heart I'm a writer over an artist. I love performing, I love making my own music, but I'm also gifted at writing for people, speaking to somebody, hearing what you want to talk about, and then being like, okay, that's how you feel. Let's get that on paper for you. Whatever genre, whether you're an R&B singer, whether you're a country singer, I can now hear that and then hear your voice and write it for you. So I've always wanted to be able to step back and be behind and push people. And so I just found a easy way to do it. Teamed up with M3, that's my management and my publishing. And together we just formed this collective, and I love the artists that I'm working with.
So I was going to ask you, now that because you have so many different genres, so many different type of artists, is it the same in terms of the writing process, or like what's the major differences that you found going from rock to maybe rap, gospel? Like what do you find in terms of that?
You mean like for myself, like what's the difference in like how
you develop them and in terms of their craft and what they want to do? Because obviously it's different genres.
It's different genres, but the basics of a song, like writing like a song, writing it is pretty much the same when you come to the structure of a song. But to be real, I was gonna say that today's society and social media, TikTok, has changed the way that music is now. People don't even listen to a song that's over 3 minutes long.
That's true.
Old Town Road was the biggest song to touch down in the last how many years? And it was 1 minute and 53 seconds or something like that.
Right.
It didn't even make it to 2 minutes because people lose the attention span is gone past a 30-second TikTok video.
Fact.
So you have to capture a whole audience of people in those first like 10 to 15 seconds.
Right.
Without that, you're screwed. Back in the day when we used to listen to music, intros would be forever and you're still like tuned in, like I can't wait for this artist to come. Right. Nowadays, you're like 10 seconds and you're like, oh, the instruments, it's still...
Or you hit the fast.
You fast forward it.
Right.
Next. Your duration, you're like, yo, I'm done. So that's what's making music hardest, because now you have to almost make everything a jingle. That's what I call it, jingle music.
Right.
It's not just making songs. You have to figure something that you would be able to do in 5 minutes. You have to find a way to make it 3 minutes, 2 minutes and 50 seconds. You have to find a way to condense that and make a... So that's what I find people have the hardest time with, and I think because TikTok and all these other platforms have changed that, everyone's formula is kind of the same now. A lot of people are because hip hop is the main, like it's the new pop, right? Because of that, I think all genres are catering to hip hop now. So even country will sound a little bit hip hop-ish, and people like Kanye have been able to cross over and dabble in this and then go back to that, and you have like Drake who does hip hop and then R&B and what. So it's I think writing it is actually the same now. It's not.
So with that, would you say that sometimes the beat would matter more because people are more from what I'm seeing, people are more in tune with listening to the beat before they actually go into the lyrical part of it? Would you say that the actual beat will be what draws them in before they listen to the content?
10,000%. I mean, besides you have a big artist, they can hop on any crap beat and go whatever. But before that, beats are the biggest thing. That's why producers these days are the ones that are making the money. They're the biggest ones. Their names are out there. They have their own like groups and stuff because producers are everything.
Right.
Beats are all that matter. Beats is something catchy. If you look at the trends of TikTok and all these different places, it's literally a beat and like something funny. She's a runner, she's a track star, but you don't hear anything else, right? And then it's just like something catchy and a nice beat, and you have a hit.
Right.
You know, some songs that I listen to on TikTok, and I'm like, okay, this is fire. I listen to the whole song, and I'm like, oh, this is garbage. But it was that sound bite that they took with the beat that you're like, yo, this is fire. Some songs I'm disappointed. I hear it on TikTok and I'm like, yo, that's probably fire. And I go research the song and then I'm like, yeah, it's better on TikTok.
Right.
But I would say that producers, beats are the biggest right now in music, the biggest thing. That's why they're getting the checks right now.
Yeah.
The beat, it means everything right now. You can say, people literally say Goo Goo Gaga on beats these days. Like they mumble. They say whatever, but the beat is like do. Like half the time you're repeating wrong lyrics. But it's because the beat hits, you don't even care.
Absolutely.
You love it. So I agree with you 100%.
I know, I was just curious.
Yeah.
And then just in regards to your day-to-day, if somebody wanted to do what you're doing, just run us quickly through what your day-to-day looks like in terms of the artist development, all the things that you provide to them, that sort of thing.
Man, my day-to-day as the facilitator for all these artists, man, I'm getting messages all day and all night. I find a lot of artists, they like to work between the hours of 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning.
Nocturnal technically. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Right?
But I get it.
Hit the plug.
Yeah.
So people, I find that a lot of artists are creative during those times. You find a lot of artists they like to book studio time during those times. And so my phone's always ringing off like, oh, what do you think about this idea? Or can you space out this song for me? Or tell me how to go on this? Or can you make a hook for this and send it back to me? And that's happening 24/7. I'm getting all messages from all my artists all the time, and it's fun though. I love doing it. So that's that. Plus you gotta now find time to work on your own music. Then balance that out with going to the studio and not wasting money in the studio. So you have to actually go there prepared and have certain stuff ready. And then on the flip side of it, we handle marketing, we handle promotion, we handle artist development when it comes to your sound, when it comes to like what people will be drawn to when it comes to you, your clothing, your swag, what you're gonna talk about, what you stand for. All that is what we like to develop at the label. And so because I'm heavily involved in all parts of that, man, if you're trying to get into doing what I do, you need 40 hours in a day.
No, that's good, and we appreciate that advice. With that being said, we're just gonna quickly take a break. But again, tune in, keep tuning, hit the subscribe button, please. Nocturnal TV. Take a break.
On them in the whip that's foreign. Drip drop on them with a chick that's gorgeous.
And we're back, Vonne Wayne. So, as we were saying, just in regards to what you're doing now with the artist development, we kind of were just touching on, is it the beat or is it the artist? So
Okay.
just in regards to the artist and the portfolios that you have in front of you today, what do you look at when somebody reaches or approaches you and goes, yo, I want to be a part of your label, I want to get signed to you? What criteria do you need just for people that are interested?
So usually when someone comes to me, I always say, give me at least 3 examples of what you have done so far. If you come to me with nothing, I'm not going to take you seriously. I want to know that you have at least something. I don't care if you recorded it on your phone. I want to hear your flow. I want to hear how your voice sounds. I want to hear how you interpret music and what genre you're doing, all that kind of stuff. From there, I like figure out where you belong and if I can actually work with you, if you're worth me putting time and effort into you. And then everyone that I sign or I work with, I give them a questionnaire. And it will say basic things like, some things are personal. It'll just ask, like, what's your favorite genre of music? It'll ask, what are your goals? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What plan do you have for your music? What's your favorite color? What do you like to eat? What are your interests and hobbies? What do you do on your spare time? I just like to get to know the artist on a level, because as much as those might sound like they're not relevant, when it comes to branding you, it's all relevant. Right. I need to know, are you a family person? You're gonna be talking about your kids and your husband and your music, or are you gonna be the single person? Are you gonna be bitter and talk about like, fuck bitches get money? Are you gonna be? Right. Are you gonna, are you a girl that likes to twerk? Do you strip on the weekends and now you're in the Cardi B category where you're doing that music? I need to know, and I like to get that out the way and know that from the beginning. And that's usually how I figure out who I'm gonna work with and how I'm gonna work with them. And some people come up and they're very interesting, and I'm like, okay, you got a good foundation there I can work with. And then when I hear their talent, I'm like, okay, that backs it up. A lot of people are talented. They just don't have the team behind them. They don't have the platform, and they don't know what to do to get to the next level. So I'll see that as well, and I'll be able to like look at it and be like, okay, I can work with you. Right. So that's how I usually.
So you wouldn't take like somebody that, like you said, that comes to you and goes, yo, I just want to rap. And this is my idea. Like, this is what I want. So you wouldn't take somebody like that.
No, I've and it's funny too, because I've had people.
No, that's what I'm saying, because I know people like that.
People like that who like they watch TV long enough, and now they're like, rapping looks cool. I'm gonna be a rapper. Right. And they come to me, they're like, yo, bro, can I rap? And I'm like, okay, how long have you been doing it? Oh, I just started. Do you have any music? No. Do you really love it, or do you think it's a cool thing because everybody's doing it? Right. When it's those answers, it's an automatic no for me. I'm like, just because you freestyle with your boys one day and you actually had 3 bars that were fire, you're not a rapper, bro. Right. You're having fun, and that's okay. You can do it as therapeutic, have fun, whatever. Right. But it's not a career for everyone to chase. And one people don't understand is being an independent artist costs a lot of money. It takes a lot of time, family, friends, all that stuff. When you have deadlines to drop singles, and you have to go do concerts, and your friends are going to a party, but you need to be in the studio because you booked the studio a month in advance, and now you have a 5-hour block, and you're there from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. or whatever, and your friends are out partying. You gotta be able to say like, no, I'm not doing this. I have to go to the studio. People don't want to do that. They want to be able to have their cake and eat it too, and it's not the way that works. So
just actually, that's great that you said that. So obviously, this is not something that is just your overnight success. Like obviously, just talk to like what the process looks like if you want to make it big. Like what does that kind of look like?
I would say for any artist to like really blow, you need in a year, I'd say to invest at least $20K into yourself.
You heard that?
They say that babies cost $20K a year to, for diapers and for food and all that kind of stuff. Music is your baby at that point. So if you're gonna put $20K into a living born baby, then you gotta put $20K into your baby of music. That's studio time, that's wardrobes, that's music videos, that's editing, that's traveling, that's promoting your music, that's getting artwork done, that's buying beats or working with a producer to do beats for you. That's all that mastering and mixing and that entire getting your music out to DJs and they want to cut, getting it on Instagram posts and TikTok posts and whatever, and putting money into that. It's gonna be a pretty penny, man. So if you think you're just gonna go into a studio on your boy's dollar, record for a bit, and you're gonna blow up, you're not.
Right. No, and that's good advice. I just wanted you to kind of give some advice.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, we want to always educate as we're going along.
100%.
In terms of your label, what competition is out there? Talk to any competition. Do you think that you have a lot of competitors in the space that you're in?
No. I think that I've picked up a niche market. People have labels and they're all trying to be labels.
Right.
And,
that's why
they want everyone to like wear their chain and they're like, I'm part of this and the label. I'm not a record label. I'm literally just development. My goal is for my artists to develop on my label, get as big as possible or as confident as possible, get a fan base, get their numbers up, know how to make songs and be good, and then we take our artists and push them to bigger labels. Okay. Once we think any of our artists are like, okay, they have a good amount of songs, they have good singles, they have an EP or two, they have projects, they've made connections, their fan base is growing, then we will take them and say, hey, Sony, Universal, Warner, whomever, this artist is this, whatever. They come with a team of writers. They come with a whole package deal. So if you like them, here, go. And even if they don't want to do a major label, some artists just want to do independent, right? I still want to help them get a platform and get big enough that they can do that confidently, where they're not like, oh shoot, I'm on my own now, but I don't know how to make this song, or I don't know what it takes to blow this song, or promotion and da. So I think in the city, my team is unique because everyone's trying to have a record label, and we're not a record label, we're a development label. So I think that's pretty much why we're different. And for us, you can come and go. You sign on with us. We have our publishing people. We have all of our team members that do videography, editing, engineer, all that stuff. Shout out to engineering Judah, Terminal 16 Studios.
Shout out.
Who's really, we've actually been able to lock in with him and really work on our artists. So we'll come in, we'll block off like a whole weekend. Everyone comes in for the weekend. Different artists will pass through. You work on your song, and it's better. If you have like 8 artists in a room, in the studio, and you're working on your song, I might be like, you know what, bro, change this, it'll sound lit. And you do it, it's sick. Then that person hears that, they're like, yo, this sounds sick, do this. And then this guy's like, yo, I just wrote a 16 to that, let me hop on, whatever. You're creating it as a team, and you're building each other up. That's the atmosphere that we like to build, and so love it. So
that's amazing. I think what you're doing is powerful. I think especially in the Toronto space, like it's needed. People need to do that. There's a lot of people trying to chase this, trying to do this thing. So I think that's awesome. Anyway, enough free game. Let's get into you now. Let's get back into you.
Okay.
So just into regards to the new project that you have going on, you have a new single out. You're talking about men's mental health, which is very important. Mental health is very important.
Extremely.
Men don't talk enough about what they got going on. Talk to the single first. Let's just dive into that.
Okay. So the first single that I'm dropping, it's coming out on Sunday. Actually, it's coming out with my EP. EP drops on Sunday, which is my birthday too, November 21st.
Hey.
You know, I'm accepting all free gifts. Just so you guys know. Yeah, my first single off the EP is gonna be called Anxiety, and the EP is called Ute, like little Ute, YUTE,
Right.
which stands for You Underestimate These Emotions. I've been developing this project for the past 2 years. I'd like to say, 2 years. We've been developing this idea, this thought process. I think it started off with the first song that I'm dropping off of it is how we came up with the whole concept. It was Anxiety. I have family members, I have friends that suffer from anxiety, and I remember growing up, anxiety wasn't a thing growing up. I remember if I felt a certain way and I was like, Mom, I can't this fix up. That's all I got, right? Anxiety gone.
Absolutely.
That's how it works.
100%, yeah.
That's how it works,
Yeah.
right? There was never a space for us to really talk about to our parents about we're having these feelings, especially as boys, because you know we're taught to keep everything inside and man up, be tough, right? That's how we grew up, and so I started to like really understand that people go through it. Even watching one of my all-time like legend heroes that I adore in music is Kanye West. You know, watching him over the years, watching him go through. You know, we found out that he's bipolar.
Right.
We found out that he had anxiety.
Call it a superpower, though.
Right, exactly,
Flipped
right?
it, though.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of people deal with things, and anxiety is it. So when I was creating that song, I thought about like my friends that go through it, even feelings that I felt. I didn't realize that it was anxiety. I never felt like I had anxiety, but over time, when you speak to people, you talk and you learn. Like, wait a second, I do have anxiety about certain things in life, and so when I was developing this song, I put all that into it and tried to figure out how can I make it where people would understand exactly what it feels like to have anxiety. And it's still not, there's no like cookie cutter way of saying it, but I try to put that into the music, and then like the second verse on the song is literally about Kanye West. I saw him when he started having his breakdowns and going crazy, and or what they say as crazy, because that's a terrible label to have. But one of his rants, I remember him talking about like the drones and the clones and all the stuff going on, and I was like, this is a dope concept, and I'd like to put his feelings into a song to see if he can get it out there. So yeah, those were the like family members and friends, and then Kanye West and what he went through was my inspiration, along with Britney. Britney was my inspiration as well.
Check out the shirt. You see it? So just in regards to the song, where can they go find it? Where can they stream it? Where can they listen to it?
Everything. It's on every platform: iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, Google Music. You can Shazam it if you need to. You can. Yeah, it's gonna be on everything. We've done a good launch, so any music streaming platform, it will be there. And a music video, I haven't figured out when I want to drop the music video, but we shot it. It looks dope. Yeah, I even got my haircut.
Got the Kanye cut too, though. You see that?
Got the Kanye cut.
Yeah, absolutely.
To go with it, right? For the video. Man, I went on the street with this. I was like, yo, the Kanye cut, bro. Guys were clowning me, everything. I'm like, it was for the art, you know? But I had to do it because it's a good message that I feel that when I did this, because of Kanye West did it, it opens up a conversation. People talk about it. Quick segue to that. The shirt. Why am I wearing the shirt for this? When Britney Spears didn't cut her hair, we all thought she was crazy. You remember back in the day when that happened?
Absolutely.
We're just like, yo, Britney's gone crazy. She shaves her head, whatever. Now look at it. What? 13 years later, we're finding out all these things about Britney Spears. What she was going through. Depression, anxiety, feeling alone. She was like locked up. Her money was not hers. She couldn't do certain things. And that's the perfect example of not judging people based on, you see someone going through something, you're like, oh, they're crazy. You don't even ask or care to know what's actually going on with that person. That person can be going through the most craziest things. Some of the happiest people do the ugliest things, right? Ye said that.
Right.
Or the prettiest people, they say. You never know what someone's going through behind the scenes.
Right.
With the Britney thing, like her cutting her hair, I remember and thinking she's crazy. Then now that I look back and I see the songs, You Want a Piece of Me, You Drive Me Crazy, all these songs where she's telling us like, guys, help. We're just like, sounds great. This is amazing. This is an amazing single. good on you, Brittany. But you went crazy. No, she was going through stuff. So I just feel that people need to be more sensitive, especially when it comes to men. Men don't talk about their feelings. We're in society, we're told not to. And if we get too sappy or too emotional, if you cry in front of a female especially, all of a sudden you're a bitch. Now it's just like, how can I feel safe to speak to you about how I feel if it's going to be thrown in my face as you're weak, you're soft, you're a bitch, or you're a girl? The fact that speaking about your emotions is legit. You're being a female, you're being a girl. That's completely like unfair.
Right.
Why are females the only ones that are allowed to speak about how they feel and not be judged by it?
I was gonna segue into that.
It's not a safe space.
I saw on your Instagram that you've been posting a lot of that.
A lot of
men's
for Movember
feedback. What's going on in terms of their own mental health? Can you talk a little bit to that? Why you're doing that right now?
So hard. Yeah. So for the month of Movember, I think today is International Men's Day or whatever. I think today's the day. Because I knew that was going on. I know that November is Movember, where you don't, shave your beard and all that kind of stuff. I thought this would be the perfect time to bring the most awareness to men's mental health. So what's funny about that is I cleared off my Instagram and I'm taking a mental break from Instagram, and I started putting up these like posts about suicide and anxiety and men's mental health issues, and all of a sudden my phone's ringing off the hook. People that I haven't talked to in 7-8 years are calling to check on me. Are you okay? Is everything all right? And I appreciate the concern from everybody. I'm doing okay. But I did that more to show you guys that people don't care until it's too late.
Absolutely.
Until it's too late.
That's a good point.
People literally wait until somebody tried to commit suicide, and then they're like, oh my goodness, I never knew. You never cared. You never looked for it. You never just randomly, and I remember I put up on my post one day, I said, how many females, not even just men, on my page, how many of you have asked a man in your life, are they okay, or how are they doing? How are you doing today? No, how are you really doing? Because the natural thing is, I'm good. Mm-hmm. I'm all right, I'm fine. But are you really? Do you even care to ask that person what's really going on in their mind or in their life? And a lot of times you don't. But that person can be going through. I dropped these posts on my Instagram, and I had a bunch of my boys that were hitting me up and they're saying, man, I appreciate this. Thank you for putting this up. This is how I was feeling. Couldn't put it into words. But even on a darker note, I found out in the last couple of weeks since November started that 3 of my close friends tried to commit suicide.
Wow.
And I never knew it.
That's crazy.
Had no idea.
Well, people that commit suicide or want to never would actually tell you.
Never.
That's the difference between people who actually say
exactly, right? But also, and they had failed attempts, but even that they were actually like crying out for help, and I never saw the signs, right? And so when they thought that I was going through it, they opened up to me and started speaking to me about it, and I was just like, bro, I never knew that you were going through this. Like, this is terrible. One of my boys said we were partying, and we were out, and this is the story. We were partying, we were out, and we're going to fets and we're partying and bubbling on girls and doing their thing, and he was on the corner. Something as simple as him getting rejected a few times throughout the night and feeling a certain way about it, and I thought we were having a good time. Went home, everybody went home, everything was fine. I didn't find out until recently that same night he went home and tried to off himself.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Wow. I'm
like, bro, but we were partying, we were good. He's like, I wasn't though. I was trying to party to take my mind off of what I was going through. It didn't work, and I tried to end it all. Things like that is what's crazy to me, And one of the posts that I put on, one of my boys, they put up a big paragraph where he said that they tried to reach out to a few of us, and we kind of like laughed off what they were talking about and like ignored it and said, bro, just man up. And then he said, the only person he could talk to is this girl, but he was in a really dark place. And I was like, bro, my bad. I didn't know like it was serious, but I grew up in that same culture where it's like, man up, don't worry about your feelings, it's whatever. That's not fair. It's not a safe space. The more I talk to men is the more that I realize that they have a lot of genuine feelings that they don't speak about because they're afraid of how they're going to be looked upon from society, or they might like a girl and they tell the girl how they really feel and she looks at them as less than a man, because that's a big thing as well. Speaking to your significant other or a woman that you like, or anything like that, or even friends that are females, and you're speaking to them, and they're like, you're a girl. Now, and I've spoken to women who themselves have said, when men start to get too sensitive or too soft, they look at them as less than a man. So how can you feel safe to speak about things if that's what the society has made it, that if you talk or express yourself that you're less than a man?
Right.
It is so hard. There's no safe spaces, and so I wanted to create my page as a place where people can like comment, say what's going on, people can reach out, people can come to me and speak and all that kind of stuff too. So yeah, I wanted to make a project that really focused on that, especially with men's mental health when it comes to relationships. So you underestimate the emotions, that whole project. You want me to get into the
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there's 6 songs on the project. The first song is Anxiety. The second one is called Drugs Hit. The third one is Laura Winslow. The fourth one is Don't Wanna Feel. The fifth one is Try to Leave. And then the sixth one is Text Back. I'll go through all of them quickly. Anxiety, of course, it's Anxiety. It's about, so the whole project is pretty much about a man who has never dealt with his emotions properly. And people in society and the girl underestimate them. So anxiety, he has anxiety talking about a girl that he was talking to before. They ended badly. He wants to be alone. She's still ringing on his phone. He's kind of like over it, and he just wants space from her. Instead of like, and then of course anxiety dealing with things in his life. Instead of dealing with that, he turns to drugs. You know, the song goes, the pain don't leave when the drugs hit. I just focus subjects. I found love, but it wasn't. I've been hurt by dozens. So he turns to drugs, and it's in any form. Drugs can be weed. Drugs can be, it's legal in Canada. But it can be that. It can be people that have headaches and they don't want to deal with it, so they take Tylenol too much. People that take NyQuil to go to sleep, and they're reliant on it.
Addicted,
people that,
right.
addicted to it, right? People that, pop pills to speed up, or you take, certain stuff to feel good. All drugs, right? But you're doing it as not just an enjoyment, but as a form to numb the pain from whatever you're dealing with, right?
Right.
So he goes through that where he takes drugs to deal with his past and the female and everything he's going through, and instead of dealing with it, he's turning to the drugs. Then, instead of dealing with his life even more, he jumps into it by chasing another woman. Instead of dealing with what he has from the past, he starts chasing another woman. That's where the song Laura Winslow. Anyone who's grown up in the 80s or the 90s know who Laura Winslow is. You also know, once you hear Laura Winslow, that it's attached to Steve Urkel and Stefan.
Right, exactly.
Without even having to explain the song, you know that Steve Urkel was chasing this woman for a very long time, and he was stuck in the friend zone. And no matter what he did, he couldn't get her. And what he had to do, he had to take a serum to change who he was to get the female.
To get the girl, right? Exactly. That's actually deep.
And that can be taken in so many ways. Guys will drink liquor so they have liquid courage in order to be someone that they're not, in order to like talk to a girl to get that courage, right? But Steve Urkel had to literally change the girl. He wasn't good enough
as himself.
Right. He had to change himself to be the ladies' man. And so now she likes the girl that Laura Winslow liked the guy that all the girls wanted, instead of the guy who was dedicated and wanted her only.
And was there all the time.
He was a good guy. He's going to be a genius nerd one day and make a bunch of money and take care of her. He loved her. He was always there for her when she would go through stuff with other guys or whatever. She was there, and he was always rejected. And he said, you know what? I'm not good enough. So what do I got to do? I got to create a serum to be the coolest person I can be to get the same girl. And she loved it. Right. She would even ask him, where's Stefan? Can you bring him back? Right. So he was not good enough, and he was stuck in the friend zone for so long. And so the song pretty much talks about, like, in the friend zone, I don't want to stay, though. I want you to see me. I'm not trying to lay low. You say we're better as friends only if you say so. Trying to be your Stefan to Laura Winslow. Right. So the whole song, I'm just talking about that whole development of guys that, I'm pretty much trying to tell guys you don't have to change to get the girl. If the girl doesn't want you and you feel like you have to change, then she's not for you.
Absolutely.
Right? But that's easier said than done. A lot of guys would be like, all right, I gotta buy a bigger chain. I gotta get a better whip. I gotta do all that. Right. That's your serum to be that guy. You're not even that guy, but you want to do, just to impress the ladies. And eventually, he peacocks enough to get the girl. So he gets the girl. Already, when you get the girl on that, you're basing it off of a toxic relationship off of that. She's not liking you for you. She's liking you for everything that you have. Right? Exactly. So then the next song is Don't Wanna Feel. So now you're in a relationship. She has issues that she's dealing with from the guy that she's been with, and now she's chosen you after you've changed yourself. You haven't dealt with your anxiety and the issues you had in your relationship. You're taking drugs to deal with the pain. You're stuck onto this girl, Laura Winslow, who doesn't want you the same way, and now you finally get her, and you guys are in a toxic relationship. So don't want to feel pretty much talks about that, the emotions of feeling like you're so in love, but it's not the best love, and you guys are not dealing with your past, and you guys come together and you bring baggage, and now you guys just have dirty laundry. The next song is Try to Leave, which was a very interesting song. It's more of a rock song, and I made it to pretty much focus on domestic violence in a relationship, but from a man's perspective. There's a lot of things that men go through. It might not just be a physical, someone punching in your face, but the emotional, verbal yeah. that you go through. Just simple things like, where are you going? Well, out with my boys. And then the female making you feel guilty for leaving. Now you're like, I can't even leave and enjoy myself. Or you leave and she's ringing on your phone the whole time. Like, that's toxic. Or,
upset at you about the dishes. Who knows?
Anything, right?
Yeah, right?
Or guys get trapped in relationships. There's women that trap men. If you want to talk about it, but it's true. Right. I have boys that say they want to have they're dating with this girl, and she'll say I'm on birth control and whatever, and then she gets pregnant. Oops, it's too late. I was never taking birth control. That's on you. So I discuss all that in a relationship. Even I have a friend who just talked about this 2 days ago. He was in a relationship and he knew the girl was bad for him, and he said, I'm trying to leave you. And every time he's trying to leave, she'd say, I'm gonna kill myself if you leave me.
Wow. And
a lot of men will stay because of that. Like, if I leave, you're guilty. If anything happens to her and I leave, bro, that's on, so they'll stay. Now they're stuck in this, and that's abuse. That is abuse. Not being able to leave toxic relationships because of guilt, because you feel bad, because she has things on you, because you leave her and then she blasts, this nigga had a small dick and you can't even hit right, and I'm gonna blow up your Instagram and talk about every girl that even likes your picture, I'm gonna stalk her and tell her that you're a bad person. Bro, that's abuse. She's not slapping me in the face, but she's doing it in so many other ways.
Sometimes that's worse.
So it's 10 times worse. Yeah. I'm a guy, I can take a beating, it's okay. But to do all that mentally, it's turmoil.
Right.
It's terrible. I know guys that are married right now that are miserable. Yes, I'm saying, I'm not going to call you guys out, but they're miserable because they're in these relationships. They feel like they can't leave. They might have kids, they might have an image, they might have whatever, financials, whatever, but they're like, if they can get a clean break, they would, but they're held on to it. And a lot of the times they're going through verbal, and the verbal abuse is ridiculous, right? And so I made this song to pretty much point on Try to Leave. It starts off by saying, I kissed you but don't miss you. I'll stay true to my promise. I love you, I won't diss you. From time we had issues, substance that we misuse, way too much tears shed, can wipe away with no tissue. I'm just talking about how in the relationship he knows and she knows that it's toxic, and he knows he has to leave, but she's just like, if you ever leave me, I'm gonna make your life a living hell.
Yeah.
Right? Domestic violence songs always are women being hurt, and we feel bad for the women.
Absolutely.
And that is a serious thing that happens, but we ignore the fact that men go through it, and just because a man's not getting beat down with a pot by a woman doesn't mean that they're not going through abuse in it. And then the last song after he tries to leave and he gets to leave is called Text Back, and it's kind of like I'm snapping. It's the only real rap song on the project. Okay. Everything else is kind of more melodic, but on that one I snap. It's rap, and I was pretty much the point where the guy's finally left a couple months later, and then he sees the girl, and she's kind of like, hey, how you doing? He's just like, nah, I'm off that. Mm-hmm. And he just goes off. Pretty much I wrote it like I was writing a text to it, the long paragraph text that, I felt like I was writing that text, what I would say to somebody, and I went off. And so it's from his perspective, he's finally over her, and he's just like, yo, I'm done. I don't want nothing to do with you. So I'm writing you finally on this text. I don't even want to talk to you. I'm just gonna text you type thing. So that's the full project, and they just go through the emotions of relationships, and guys expressing themselves in how they feel emotions, when you really love a girl and she doesn't love you the same way, and how that affects guys mentally. A lot of girls don't understand, or women, I should say women, don't understand that rejection hurts men a lot.
100%.
You know, of
And
course,
they get rejected a lot more.
A lot more. Listen, let me tell you this. I'm gonna say this right now on Nocturnal TV. One of the most scariest feelings for a man is to go to a party and a girl's dancing and you go behind her. Those 5 seconds that it takes for her to turn around determine whether you're
I know what you're saying.
you think you're ugly or not.
Yeah.
That whole you're the girl and she turns around and looks at you and she goes, and she walks away. Hurts. It crushes
Not
men.
to mention you gotta go back to your peers.
Exactly, and they're gonna make fun of you, right? Those kind of things no one talks about. We laugh at it, we joke about it, but some people can't roll it off their shoulder and keep it moving. Some mans, they're crushed. Now they're going home like, I'm ugly, no girl wants me. I can't believe this is what's going on, and they go down a spiral. So, you know, I wanted to make a project that spoke about the emotions that men do not speak about, and so that's why I decided to make that. And mental health, what it does to their mental health afterwards, because you don't see what they go home and they do or what they're dealing with. And you know, not everyone's the popular guy. Not everyone has the ladies or has the money or has the looks or the height or whatever. And so there's a lot of guys have to work. They act like men don't have body shaming. You know, of course they do. Like, men deal with being big, you know, not having abs or being 6 foot. I'm 5'7", you know, I'm not tall. So I know how it is, right? You know? So there's a lot of things that guys have to go through. You know, we talk about, women always talk about, like, yeah, you talk about their butts or their chest or, you know, that kind of stuff. And okay, cool. But, you know, when mans are not packing and then you go around and you're saying, like, I ain't the guy that has 8 you know, men that are sitting there with their fives are like, shoot.
No, but I get it. I get it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's still body shaming, but we just don't talk about it because of society. You know, usually when a woman's upset about you, we find it online all the time. The first thing they say is, your dick's whack. It's small. It's this, da, 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 da. Now you're sitting there like, shoot. You know what I mean? Like, it is a thing. And we don't talk about it, and it's just on all aspects of it. So I wanted to like make a project that like discusses that.
No, amen, brother. I think that's amazing. I think, you know, just in regards to everything you kind of mentioned, it needs to be discussed. It's something that we don't talk about enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think ultimately it'll be something that'll be eye-opening for a lot of people.
Very.
With that being said, let's just take a quick break. And we'll be right back.
On them in the whip that's foreign. Drip drop on them with a chick that's gorgeous.
All right, so yeah, man, I think just what you said there in terms of that project and the things that you brought up, the major items, I think it's needed during this time. There's, like you said, during the pandemic, people had to sit in the house a lot, as we were talking about earlier,
100%.
and they had no outlets, you know, especially for men, as you said. So just in regards to this project, when is it exactly going to be out? Where can we go look for it? What kind of social medias are you going to be using, platforms, that sort of thing?
So over the last month, I've been really connecting with a lot of mental health pages all over social media, Instagram, vlogs. I'm talking to as many outlets as possible to get this out there. It's going to be on all streaming platforms. I had a few designs for it, but I decided to go with the mental health blue that goes for November. And if you look at it, there's like little gems that are hidden on the project. I had a great team that helped me work with it. People like writers, artists, people that would, I'd say I wrote everything myself, but I had a lot of ideas I bounced off of like my friends, people that I work with on Vonne Wayne Corp, Christian, Dwayne, Tori. It was my team, Judah. You know, we really like came together and thought about this whole project and brought it together. But yeah, like I was saying, for promotion, I've been linking up with a lot of mental health pages, and they're gonna run it as much as possible. They said I've given them like sneak peeks of the project, and they love it. They think it's fire.
Right.
They think it's a space that hasn't been tapped into as yet. A genre that's I don't even know what genre this is, to be honest. It is hip hop, but it's a bit of rock, soft rock. It's a bit of pop. It's a bit of, you know, country. There's a lot of things mixed up in there. But it's gonna be on. I'm gonna really push. It's gonna be on Facebook. Every social media platform is gonna have it. I'm trying to get as many vlogs out that are gonna push it. I have a few more interviews. You know, it's my first one for the project. Nocturnal TV, that's exclusive.
We appreciate that.
Most def, you know. And I'm gonna keep doing this, looking out. When you guys check out this interview, you know, look at Sir Vonne Wayne, SirVonne Wayne on social media. And yeah, let's look it for my project, man. I'm really excited for it to come out and drop. I can't wait to hear the conversations that it starts. Who's gonna be speaking about it? Again, I have a lot of people I've teamed up with. We're gonna push it out to those avenues. And if you listen to the project and know anybody who could benefit from hearing it, or it starts a discussion, feel free to use it. You know, push it, post it, repost, all that.
Absolutely, no, we appreciate it, and you know, for giving us the exclusive and all the just little tidbits of what you kind of gonna put out. Any of your other artists coming out with anything that you want to plug in as well?
Oh. So we have so our Vonne Wayne Corp. We Marley Unknown. She's very talented. We call her the queen of the label. She just dropped a new song that I co-wrote called I Don't Need No. The video's coming soon as well. King Bola and I just dropped a
shout out King Bola too.
King Bola, man, you know, he's doing his thing.
We did a little live with him before.
Yeah. He's doing his thing. We have him and I have some bangers. We just came out with a song called Name Out Your Mouth. It is fire.
Okay.
Fire. It came out on October 31st. It is doing great numbers. It's a great song. He did his thing on that. I have things with Rifik the Ghoul. We have things with him coming up as well.
Too. Yep.
Rifik, you know. Seth Rose is doing some stuff. We got Alicia Cole coming next summer. Look for her. She's doing her thing too. She's more she's like all around entertainment. She has like a bunch of followers. She hosts. She does stuff as well. So, and then we have Leash. She's another one. She's a female rapper. I have her and King Bola on a song called Figure 8, dropping next year. I'm trying to drop a lot of music. Between now, I promise you guys, between now and next year, I'm going to drop like 50 tracks. That's my goal.
Fire.
You know, so I really want to like push music, and all my artists are going to be collectively on there as well. And then, of course, I have a project coming out December 24th with Broadway Benson. You got to get him in here.
Okay.
He's has his whole ski mask thing going on. He's pretty good. And he has a very unorthodox style. He's very different. I mean, we had our first project. We're actually shooting videos this weekend, and then we're shooting for our album that we're dropping. Our EP we're dropping December 24th. So a lot of music coming out of the collective.
No, that's amazing, man. And listen, we're trying to get all your artists in here. So we're trying to get,
they know
every single one of them.
They're all coming.
Absolutely.
I want to do all the artists, and I want to do a collective where you have the seats and all
sick.
here.
That'd be sick.
And then you just sit there and you just ask, and just like they can answer. Yeah, so
that'd be sick.
I want to get everybody in there first, and then we'll do that for sure.
That'd be dope, man. I think that'd be fire.
Most def.
But yeah, listen, overall, we want to thank you for being here. Thank you for shedding some light on the project.
Thank you.
Thank you for shedding light on mental health and men's mental health, most importantly, because I don't think it's talked about enough.
It's not.
If there's anything else you want to plug in before we kind of wrap it up?
I think we have everything wrapped up. Look out for you. I'm gonna drop Anxiety very soon. A video shot by Christian Miller.
Good.
Captured by Chris on Instagram. He killed it. Once again, I appreciate you just having me. I appreciate you having a conversation.
Appreciate you coming, man. Absolutely.
No, man. Thank you so much. I like this space. I like what you've created here. It's dope. You know. I appreciate it. Nocturnal TV.
Absolutely.
You know?
And with that being said, again, I am Mr. Nocturnal. I just want to say thank you to Vonne Wayne. Go look out to everything he just kind of plugged in there. We also want to shout out Alpha Pack and the Alpha Pack headquarters. As you can see, we have a dope space now. We're going to be utilizing it all the time. Go check them out again, www.alphapackhub.ca for all your soft paper, things that you want to kind of go with. And then ultimately, please hit that subscribe button. Please engage. Please let us know if there's any feedback, anything you want to see different. If there's anybody that you have interest in, anybody that you think might be willing to come out and do an interview, depending on because we're touching on a lot of different genres. We're at business, we're doing music, we're doing food. So anything that you kind of have going on, let us know. And again, we appreciate your time. Thank you. You could have been anywhere. You decided to jump in here. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Till next time, sleep later. Nocturnal TV.
On them in the whip that's foreign. Drip drop on them with a chick that's gorgeous.